What's interesting right now is I feel like everywhere I turn, there's a conversation about AI. But when we're saying AI, the term is so opaque that it doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. And I think it's really important to have conversations that really break down the different facets of AI and the different facets of the way it's permeated our creative ecosystem or just doing our daily life, right?
Hi, my name is Erika Alexander, and I'm here with Color Farm Impact, where we know stories shape systems, and we're really excited because we're with the tech we want, and we're going to be talking to a bunch of really cool people and ask them whether and how we set boundaries with tech and AI in our lives. So I'm down for this conversation. Are you? Yeah, you are. Come on, let's do it. Okay, we have Jax Deluca. Jax, thank you so much.
Of course.
I found out that you've been doing really great work for a very long time at the National Endowment of the Arts, and now you're with the Future Film Coalition, and you're doing your thing. I like to be told by you what exactly that is, and then we might get into some of the other stuff that you're doing.
So in my role at the National Endowment for the Arts, I was working a lot with artists.
You're the director of media.
I was the director of film and media arts.
Film and media arts, okay.
And I also was on the President's Council for Arts and Humanities on their AI working group.
How long were you there?
Almost 10 years.
Wow. I have so many questions about how you get there, but this is fascinating, right?
Yeah.
And you're working through different administrations. Though.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yes. And so in the Biden administration, there was a large push in thinking about digital humanities, AI and humanities, ethics, diversity, equity, inclusion. How do we think about all of this with AI kind of permeating everything? And now, it's not part of the conversation in the forefront of this administration, but there's still a wide swath of people who are carrying on that work because it's like the root of how they're operating.
But it starts with some person.
It starts with someone.
Persons.
Yeah.
Did you leave the NEA because you wanted to, or did you want to do something else? What?
There was a big reduction in force for all across government agencies. So myself and all of the other artistic directors, we had to leave our jobs in a way because it was...
Did they shut down the NEA?
They didn't shut it down. There's still a $207 million appropriation, which will be going to the arts in different ways. But it is a very different type of an agency than it was before. We're still glad it still exists, and it will still be supporting arts organizations. And
does it support arts organization without the persons there? Is there an AI component to who's doing that work?
There's
Have you
still
been
staff.
Replaced? There's staff.
No, not replaced. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Interesting.
Not replaced. It's just a same amazing organization filled with amazing people that are working as hard as they can to make sure that there is funding for the arts across the United States.
Understand.
And making sure that that money is protected and is still there. And you can actually go in for support at the National Endowment for the Arts for arts and technology funding. When I was there, I spearheaded a field scan with Ford Foundation and Knight Foundation that was looking at artists who are using technology as a creative medium. And we really look at all of these different ways that artists have developed these relationships to develop their own tools that are built on these frameworks of equity and co-creation and really thinking about the communities who use them. And this is a whole area of artistic practice that I've been heavily engaged with when I was at the NEA.
You're asking the questions, you're interrogating who's designing this, who's this for, who gets to use it.
Yeah. When I went to college.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I went to school, one of the things that was core to that curriculum was learning how technology works, understanding, because I remember when you could start burning your own DVDs and
oh yeah.
Whew, and then all of a sudden, like, you get laptops and you get this. And I remember the teachers kind of, because they had a really strong relationship with technology and body and thinking about performing arts and very much an interdisciplinary look at how technology can just be a tool and not the thing that owns you, and to take apart and understand all of the different things, like how far can we stretch it? How far can we experiment here? And so you have a little bit of command over the tool in your artistic process.
Because you can interact with it, you can change it, you
it's
can
not just a
manipulate
black box,
Yeah,
right?
that it goes in and it is what it is.
Exactly.
So think like an artist and see how you can disrupt it, refine it, and or just leave it alone.
And a lot of people don't get that training now because there's a whole new generation that do not have an analog brain and they're growing up in a digital world. Many of them have probably only ever put a file in a digital folder, if they've even done that, because a digital folder is built on an analog system, right? It's representative. Telephone, right? Phone call. That's not a real voice coming through the line. That's also a mimicked, that's an AI of your voice, right?
This is a freak out.
Right.
You're right. That's a version of who you are.
And so thinking like that critically of like how everything becomes entwined, then you could start becoming a more responsible user of technology when you start to understand how it operates and how it's influencing you, and really thinking deeply about that. Astra Taylor wrote this book, and it's about digital feudalism and asking these questions of why don't we have systems that are public, that we own, that are something that are not extractive.
That's a great, yes.
Yeah.
Why don't we?
Yeah, and this is where government makes it very impossible every 4 years to have one stable system unless it's built in a way that it is insulated from political pressure. Everything points towards profit, and if we make systems that benefit humans over a capitalist corporatized system that is benefiting shareholders, if it's not going in that path, then it's very hard for that to be created and scaled at the level that we need it and that we can own it. It's a mystery to me, though, because all of us are having these conversations that I know that I'm all around. So I would love to find a solution that could work towards that, or how do we get the capital back into the system, into the hands where it goes back into public good?
Do we need capital? Do we need it to be successful on a capitalist level in order for it to exist?
No, I don't think we need to. We need to be extracting money from the people who are extracting money from us in order to make the thing we want to build.
Right. Sometime when you think of if it's government led for some reason, and it just seems like it won't be interesting.
Right.
That it'll be good for you, and that will go and feel like, oh, that's nice, and there are very few people who might be able to even be supported, because if you have a record or if you've done things that are problematic, you may not be getting those grants, just by the very nature of how you might have done your life or something you've done or said, and it takes you out of the running. So that can be problematic, and you might leave off of the table artists that might be a little bit more pushing and a little bit bigger, because they're not perfect. And I know that because having worked with campaigns, I always thought, well, why don't you invite that person? They're really good explaining things. I said, yeah, but they're not vetted. And to me, that was always leaving a huge percent of the American population out of how we build coalitions.
Yes.
And I know you're into coalition building because that's what you're doing with the future film. But part of building coalitions is partly, I think, looking at why can't we have action movies that are government supported, horror movies that are government supported, popcorn films that make money, that the people know they're doing it, and that a certain amount of that, after maybe paying for it, goes into the government's trust for other artists.
Yeah.
If we are culture makers in America for the greater good of the global.
You should be our Minister of Culture.
Well,
I would nominate you.
Well, but you are a Minister of Culture, because although you might have moved into a different path, I'm just asking, as you start to build, are we a little bit too good for the game?
So, there are ways that we can make these connections, but in this world right now, people devalue the arts so much and how much it's actually contributed to our culture, which is so crazy to me.
Why?
So
America is built on our culture. We rule the world with our soft power, not with our hard power. It hasn't. The thing that's changed people's minds is not our guns.
Yeah.
It's rock and roll. It's our love songs.
Yeah.
So how are we just giving that away when we are in the forefront? It just seems nuts, doesn't it, to devalue the thing that makes you the most powerful in the world?
Absolutely. Yeah, there is a great book it's Andrew DeWard's book that is How Financialization Has Killed Culture, or How Wall Street Has Killed Culture, and it's all about the financialization of the creative industry and the film industry, and that really, when it comes down to it, if you kind of look underneath it all, it really does. It's the hyper-capitalist framework that we work in. It dominates us in our technology. And a lot of people don't know that. And I think being able to take a little bit of ownership and think deeper is so important. That's why the work that you're doing right now is so important in having these conversations, so that way people can think a little bit more about what their terms and conditions are.
Mm-hmm. It just seems like the capital structure that built America despises the thing that is inherent and essential for it.
Yeah.
What are your terms and conditions going forward?
Taking the power back and really getting people together and mobilizing people to take back what was ours in terms of what could have been possible to benefit humanity. And we have these amazing tools right now that are misused in terrible ways.
Right.
And so I think we need to think about how do we make it so that we can choose when to use these and not just have everything kind of built in. But I feel very hopeful because there's a lot of people who are finally angry enough that we can start having some terms and conditions of our own.
Let's hope for our sake you're right. You know, with a name like Jax Deluca, you're going to make it happen.
Thanks.